Hi, it's Ela, and I am going to talk more about how to mix greens, but this time I'm going to talk about how do you make greens from blue and yellow. So here we go. I've got my samples again of different green objects that I want to hopefully match or get at least remotely close to when I paint with them. And when we are choosing whatever colors we're going to use to mix our greens, we have to, first of all, test out your blue and go, okay, what does that blue look like? This is ultramarine blue. We take a look at it and we ask ourselves, is this blue a greenish blue or is it a purplish blue? I would describe this as a purplish blue. It has red in it. It leans more towards purple. If I go for this blue right next to it over here, they call it cerulean, but if you look up the pigment codes, it's actually phthalo, P-H-T-H-A-L-O blue, E-L-O. And so you can see this is a much more turquoisey color. It's leaning towards green. When you see that turquoise or a teal type quality, it's going towards green as opposed to purple. And I have a couple more I'm going to show you. Here we go. This is phthalo without the white mixed in. This is straight up pure phthalo. It's a much deeper color. It's very intense and very beautiful. You can see how these colors are very similar. And they both lean towards green. I think I might stick one more in there. Oh my goodness, one more. This is actually my favorite blue for mixing greens. This is Prussian blue. And you can see it's a greenish blue, but it's not as brilliant. It's like it has a little black mixed in there. So, you may not have this many shades of blue, but let's just get familiar with them and see what happens when we add yellow to them. So this purplish blue, ultramarine, if you mix it with yellow, see these little arrows? This is the green that happens when I mix this color and this color together. I get this kind of olive army jacket green. It's very, very dull. If I try to mix a purple, on the other hand, it contains red. You can really tell it contains red because it makes a really nice purple. Whereas this other blue right here, you see this guy? Here it is right here. I mixed yellow with it, and you can see it makes a very, very bright green. So those arrows connecting those together. If I try to make a purple with it, it's slightly more brown than this. It's not as dramatic as these two colors, but it's still more brown, than this one. So it's same red mixed with this blue, same red mixed with this blue. Here's the two purples. So if you see a color that looks like this, it's worth sitting down with your yellow and just mixing it. Use your brightest yellow. Use a yellow that is not leaning towards orange. You see how this even has a little red in it. But even with this is an orangey yellow. This is a pure yellow. If you want to mix the brightest green you can with ultramarine blue, make sure it's the brightest yellow, and you still may end up with an olive green. So what do we do? What do we do if we don't want an olive green and we don't want a green that's quite this bright? Because this is a very almost unnaturally bright green. It doesn't really look like these leaves either. These leaves are kind of in between these two shades of green. What do? We can mix those colors together if you own them both. I'm just going to stick a little bit. Oops, pull right out of there. This is an exciting episode. Here we go. Here's a little bit of ultramarine blue. And I'm also going to stick a little bit of phthalo blue in there as well. So now we have both blues in there, the purplish blue and the greenish blue. And what they'll do is they will balance each other out. So when I add the yellow, it won't be glow in the dark bright green. but also won't be super dull olive green either. It'll be something in between. And that's pretty nice. And I can tweak it further if I want to. If I added more ultramarine, it would be even more dull. If I added more phthalo, it would be more brilliant, more emerald green. But that's a pretty good green. Another option you have is if you wanted to do, if you didn't have any ultramarine blue and you just wanted to use phthalo blue, you would have to do some of the same tricks that we did with the phthalo green, where you lay down this very brilliant, very greenish blue, and when you add your yellow, it's going to be almost kind of, well, it might be too bright. It's very bright. How are we going to dull that down? We need to stick a color that contains some red. It could be orange. Orange contains red, right? Orange is in between the yellow and red in the color wheel. It's a blend of those two colors. You could also do brown. You have this orange right here ready to go. This will tone it down and make a more natural looking green. So there we go. Looks more like something you would actually, a real leaf. Oop. It's kind of pale, too much water. But still, it looks more natural than this does right here. So I was saying how this is my favorite blue for mixing greens. This is Prussian blue, and I'm going to go stick a little bit more of that on my paper and show you what happens when I mix this with a little bit of yellow. So it's both greenish, but it also has all three colors, all three primary colors, so, you know, a little bit of black, you could even say. It's a beautiful, but still relatively natural looking green. So I will have the names of all of these colors in the notes below. I hope you found this helpful.